Well, I've been writing poetry since 1975, but it wasn't until I moved to Philadelphia as a teenager in the 1980s where I actually saw a poetry reading happen. Actually, the first poetry reading happened in my high school, but that's a whole other story. And then I wanted to do it myself. So I was very excited about doing this. It's daunting, it's terrifying at first. And I eventually realized that people are very busy. And when they take the time to come hear me, it's a very big deal. So I took it seriously and I decided to train my voice. And I found the range that I have and that I use it. And I also found out from a boyfriend who was an opera singer that you must not consume spicy food or lemon, because spicy food knocks out part of your vocal range and lemon the other. Then you're stuck with this sort of monotone, boring middle range. So when I first perform a poem for the first time, I make little marks along the side of the lines. I usually double space the poem so that I can have the line, so I know which direction my voice should move. And once I get that down, I don't need it any longer because I've got it memorized. And then when I go on a book tour, for instance, I have like a range of poems that I've worked out so that when I get in front of an audience, I can just perform for them and feel good about it at the end that I've given them a full reading of the work. And I do not memorize the poems. I'm more interested in memorizing the fluctuation of the voice where it should go. I feel that's plenty to memorize. And I read right off the book. Poetry or another shovel, working where the real America buried you. The kind of men shown a table of blueprints of our city to destroy us. When they punish us, it is exactly how we knew it would feel. Places with the least warmth, exchanged with places we miss one another in. Sunlight snorkel of corn silk as the hummingbird drinks your wounds away. Fuck the real America up the ass with the fake one. Let it all be done, you said. Let it all be done, I said. If 1,000 different people read one of my poems, it's now 1,000 different poems. Because you filtered my writing through your experience, and every single human being is unique. No two people have the exact same experiences or experience the same experiences the same way even. So that's exciting. And that's something I learned very young as a writer, actually, that exegesis is irrelevant, that explaining the poem is unnecessary. When I was younger, as a young poet, I wrote poems that I wrote too many words in them because I wanted to get across exactly what I wanted. Then I realized, oh, people are going to get it the way they want it anyway. So it freed me up. It liberated me. And then when people hear me read the poem, they're actually hearing the way that I present it and how I feel the poem. But when you read the poem yourself, you get to have your own experience. You can even actually have your own experience while I'm reading it. But they are very different modes, for how you experience the work. You'll experience in a private way through your own lens, so to speak. Or then if I'm on stage reading it, I'm trying to give you how I feel the poem is. Poem as storm, not as refuge. Where is the old druid who loved me when my tide slammed his door? Statue of Kafka looking like Judy Garland looking like me. Life is about choices, is what assholes with the best choices say. Take the voyage or crack beneath it. Riots on TV with commercials of cars, making men inside them clench their sphincters. It all happens with signals through mist. Cocks swinging to attention. Horny is not cynical. They promise glory, keeping firm their soft road to genocide, a black spot of the map. Capitalism and religion is no place to stand between. When I'm writing poems, I'm not thinking about anything except writing poems. And the performance aspect comes later. I can perform any of my poems, so that's not a problem ever, but I guess I have to say that when I'm interested in writing poems, I'm only interested in the language and how the language is coming out and how I can convey to the reader or listener a different way of looking at the world. I believe the most effective use of art or poetry, art of any kind, is to change somebody's perspective. I want to create something that's going to have somebody look at the world differently. My favorite artwork does that. My favorite poems and art make me look at the world differently. And each time that happens to me, I know that I've expanded the way I look at the world. And the bigger your worldview, the better you're going to be as a human being and also as an artist. My song flushed from ear to page. The old druid loved it through his guitar. Furniture of future wastelands opened to us. Wondering is like falling all over the mind. Kissing at edge of a landfill, no thought of death with his tongue in my mouth, no fear to fence in a sentence. We tear holes in the wall to watch plants grow. Love one another enough for the missing parts. Can you blame me became you can blame me. My cousin got me drunk to convince me to repent. Something his pastor taught him. I told his daughter, when you're ready to rebel against that bastard, here's my number. I will travel to you no matter where you are. I want to give the audience a true reading of the work. I want to use my full voice, and when you use your full voice, your whole body gets into it. I want to feel the poems as I'm presenting them. I think it's important to honor the poetry in that way.